Hello and welcome to the 50-cent tour of Friday, May 17th, 2013. Please find a seat on the Liberty bus and we will begin our tour. This is a kind of a follow-up to the blog that John Rappaport had written that I mentioned yesterday about Watergate and how that compares with what's going on right now politically. Stunner, who is suddenly telling liberal jackals to attack Obama? He doesn't answer the question, but he poses it very well. And it is an important question because a lot of, if Fast and Furious could be swept under the carpet, why are some of these other things not being treated the same way? Fast and Furious was just about as bad of an operation as a government can get into, and that did not lead to impeachment or even a lot of noise from the mainstream press. So why is this generating so much interest? Here's kind of an interesting article. Are geeks the new guardians of our civil liberties? And this is Bill Moyers, and not a source that I typically go to, but it's an interesting article from a broader perspective than how we normally look at things, and it does mention Aaron Swartz and how significant hackers are in the current political climate and the way things are done at this time in history. Pope Francis urges global leaders to end tyranny of money. I'm not sure how much he means this or if it will really happen. I'm still not absolutely sure who this guy is or what he's all about, but I'm certainly open to the possibility that he could bring about very helpful reform. And as a little accompaniment to that article, what he's talking about, in 2012, the 100 richest people made a profit big enough to eradicate extreme poverty in the world 4 times over. And one thing that Benjamin Fulford typically writes about in his blog almost every week is the need to end poverty and restore the earth, and that it really doesn't require all that much money to accomplish both of those agendas. So here the 100 richest people could have done it 4 times over. So they could have, if they were taxed the way we were taxed, 25% maybe, extreme poverty could have been eradicated and they would have still had 3/4 of their fortune. So, kind of an interesting thought. Google buys a quantum computer. Now, since it's Friday, I'm putting the worst news in the middle here. This isn't directly very bad news, but just within the context of knowing that Google is very soon going to be meeting with the Bilderbergers, and there was a rumor I read that Bilderberg was going to buy Google, and on one hand I think some of that is somewhat positive, because perhaps Bilderberg feels that they are losing control through government to some extent, and they want other means of control. But the kind of things that can be achieved through this computer is they can more easily spy on people, and the field is particularly important for things like facial or voice recognition, biological behavior, or the management of very large and complex systems. And personalized internet search and predictions of traffic congestion based on GPS data are examples of machine learning. Here's you have this, a prediction of traffic congestion based on GPS data. That could be helpful, but it requires that this computer know where everybody is. And personalized internet search, I mentioned that the other day in reference to Catherine Albrecht's interview on InfoWars, that when you do a search on Google, they track you and they anticipate what, based on your history, what you might be looking for. And that is what they show you, both as a search result and to solicit you, to try to sell you things. So this computer is rather dangerous, I would say, in the hands of Google. Yesterday I mentioned, I think it was yesterday, that Angelina Jolie had a double mastectomy. This is just kind of a follow-up article. Exposed Angelina Jolie part of a clever corporate scheme to protect billions in BRCA gene patents influence Supreme Court decision. This is the money-making corporate approach to cancer. And that's where the big corporations are coming from. It's so unnecessary. It's unnecessary for people to mutilate themselves and to use horrible, expensive chemicals. Amazing Ashwagandha, the plant for stress reduction, cancer prevention, and more. Thunder God Vine compound annihilates cancer in 40 days, researchers discover. And this is another article and a video about Thunder God Vine. Chinese plant compound wipes out cancer in 40 days, says new research. So, good luck to them with making money on their patenting genes and all. If there is a large-scale move toward these effective natural cures for cancer, all of the, whether they can patent genes or not, that becomes, in that case anyway, becomes a moot point, because we're not trying to buy genes, right? We're not trying to have the $3,000 test. We're not trying to, if the positive results come back from the $3,000 test, we're not going to get a mastectomy, because there are natural cures for cancer and there are lifestyle cures. Facebook fatigue stirs investor concern. Now, you have to subscribe to read the full story, but I find this interesting. Facebook fatigue. This cites the arrival of older relatives, one of the reasons cited by teenagers for losing interest in the social networking platform. It's like anything else. People are fickle. They'll enjoy something for a while and then they'll be ready to move on to something else. And I think at some point people will become maxed out on Facebook, and especially as people begin to realize how much personal information Facebook keeps and how much they use it to track you and sell to you and to extrapolate matrices of how you'll behave under certain circumstances. Most people don't want that. As soon as they realize it, I think they'll move on. What will they move on to? Well, update and correction, Myspace gains 3 stars in EFF's Who Has Your Back report. I don't really know that people will go back to Myspace, but EFF feels that I think that it's probably a safer place for privacy than Facebook. And Myspace did communicate with EFF. So overall, EFF is happy to award Myspace 3 additional stars and hope that other companies will take up the challenge. So we'll see. I think living real life is more rewarding than Facebook or Myspace, but it is nice in some circumstances to be able to have a convenient way to maintain contact. IN5D, are you an extrovert? Are you an introvert or extrovert? Introvert myths. I'm definitely an introvert, and sometimes in mentioning that to people, they're surprised and they want to argue with me and tell me that I'm not an introvert, because most people don't understand what it really is to be an introvert. And this is just a little helpful bit of information for personalities. It helps in understanding people and having healthy relationships and being healthy yourself. 22 things happy people do differently. This is just some nice little, again, lifestyle and information, helpful hints. Don't hold grudges, treat everyone with kindness, see problems as challenges. You probably could guess some of these things, but it's helpful to be reminded. And some more good news. Hemp could free us from oil, prevent deforestation, cure cancer, and it's environmentally friendly. So why is it illegal? Well, it's illegal because it could free us from oil, right? I mean, that alone. Cure cancer. If we were free from big oil and big pharma, what a world it would be. And, one of the 22 habits of happy people, or whatever that title was, is dream big. So we can dream big, right? That we could be set free from these oppressive systems. And just a little more practical information. Hempcrete House, Hemp Technologies, Hempcrete Technology Commercial, strongest building material in the world. Good stuff. The 50 Cent Tour is a presentation of She Who Will Walk in the Dark Productions. And we thank you for joining us for today's tour, and hope that you will have a great weekend coming up. The dawn is coming. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Hoping that you all will love one another, take some time to do something fun this weekend, take care of yourselves, and insist on liberty.